Hi everyone. Do you like animals? You can study them for years and still learn something new every day. And watching them is something you can never get enough of. Animals are funny, cute, and incredibly interesting. But you know what could be cuter than animals? They're babies. Tiny, charming, and so different. So prepare for a cuteness overload, because in today's video, we're going to talk about baby animals. Let's get it on. Hippos. We all know that hippos are huge, sometimes aggressive creatures, and it's better not to stand in their way. But when a hippo is born, it doesn't look like a menacing giant with huge teeth. A hippo's pregnancy is 8 months long, and if they give birth in their natural habitat, a newborn hippo ends up right in the water. He must reach the surface on his own and take his first breath. Usually only one calf is born, but twin births also happen sometimes. Mothers take great care of their offspring, and don't ever try to hurt them. Hippos easily drive away any strangers, especially males. Sometimes if the population becomes too large, adult males can actually kill babies. However, this behavior is not common under normal conditions. In about a year, the little hippo begins to eat on his own, and at 5 years old, he's considered an adult. Snails. Snails are sometimes kept as pets, and sometimes they're served in restaurants. Some people try to get rid of snails because they harm plants. But what do the newborn snails look like? Seems that they always stay the same way. Slippery creatures with a hard, funny shell. But this isn't quite true. First, snails lay eggs, up to 100 at a time. And second, after hatching in about 2 to 4 weeks, the snails look like a transparent version of the adult species. They are tiny and resemble the ghosts of the adult snails. But even at this stage, they can already take care of themselves. Polar bears. The second largest land predator after the saltwater crocodile, the polar bear looks impressive and menacing. These are large, heavy animals that can survive in extreme conditions, but when polar bears are born into the world, they look really cute. Cubs are born blind and weigh less than 0.9 kilograms. For several months, the mother, together with the offspring, stays in a cave, and by the time the kids get out, they already weigh 10 to 15 kilos and play most of the day, all thanks to mother's milk. It's almost impossible to see a newborn polar bear in the wild, but we can see them in the zoos, and it turns out that these cubs look a lot like puppies. Spiders. Did we say that all the baby animals are cute? Well, okay, we probably take that back. There are cute baby animals, and then there are spiders. Even if you don't suffer from arachnophobia, it's quite difficult to enjoy the way that spiders are born. Like many other creatures on our planet, spiders are hatched from eggs. Depending on the species, they can lay 1 egg or up to 3,000 of them. Could you imagine what happens when the offspring hatch? Young spiders develop inside the egg, and that's why their babies look like the adult species, only smaller. And you know, that is actually quite scary. There are some species of spiders which protect the eggs, and some even continue to take care of the hatched spiderlings, but most often, small spiders are left to their own devices, and they quickly grow up. After all, their time is limited. Most spiders live from 1 to 2 years. Rhinoceros. Baby rhinos look almost as charming as baby hippos. Looking at these cuties, you simply can't believe that someday they'll grow up to become strong adult animals that pose a real danger to humans. Seriously though, these babies are way too cute and playful. Rhinos don't behave like that, right? Just you look at them. A rhino calf needs about 3 days after birth to learn how to stand on its feet and follow its mother. And although the babies look strong enough, they remain under the protection of the adults for at least 2 to 3 years until a new calf is born. After that, the young rhino begins to live its own life and soon turns into a formidable inhabitant of the savannah. Snakes. Unlike many other baby animals in our video for today, these can hardly be called cute. Nature wasn't too kind to snakes and didn't make them cute or fluffy, although some weird people love snakes anyway. But let's get back to the topic of the video. So, snakes hatch from eggs. A pretty obvious fact, right? And the deadly black mamba, of course, is no exception. In early spring, these snakes begin to mate, and by summer, the females lay 6 to 17 eggs. That's where their parental duties usually end. In about 80 to 90 days, young snakes hatch from the eggs. They're quite small too, usually no longer than 40 to 60 centimeters, almost nothing compared to a 3-meter long adult black mamba. But the newborn snakes are already dangerous. A black mamba, no matter the size or age, is an aggressive and extremely venomous snake responsible for many deaths in Africa. Kangaroos. Perhaps of all species, kangaroos have the most unusual way of giving birth. Many have probably heard that these animals carry their cubs in a special pouch, but few people know how the baby gets there. And no, it wasn't inside all the time. The length of a newborn kangaroo is about 25 millimeters, which is the smallest cub among all mammals. A newly born kangaroo is blind, hairless, and with undeveloped hind legs. Honestly, he doesn't actually look like a kangaroo at all. However, in just 5 minutes, this tiny creature manages to make his way into a pouch. Once inside the pouch, he finds one of the 4 nipples and immediately latches onto it. About 190 days after birth, the baby kangaroo can already leave the pouch and play outside. The older he gets, the less he needs this shelter, and in the end, in about 235 days, the baby leaves the pouch for the last time. Armadillos. Armadillos, the creatures which look like ancient animals or weird balls, are actually mammals, though they might not look like ones.
Well, that was very good. Okay.
Armadillos gestate their embryos from 60 to 120 days, depending on the species. Females of the 9-banded armadillo exhibit polyembryony. They develop 2 or more embryos from a single fertilized egg. Babies are born with developed eyes, but at first their bodies are covered with a soft skin. Only in a few weeks it begins to harden and turns into the tough armor. Baby armadillos can already walk in a couple of hours after birth too. However, they stay with their mother for several months, and only then begin to live on their own. Bats. Not everyone likes bats. After all, you can't call them beautiful, and stories about their blood-sucking tendencies might make you reconsider having them as pets, but their babies still look pretty cute. Most bat species give birth to 1 baby at a time, and this is understandable. The weight of the baby can reach 40% of the weight of the mother, so no room for siblings. For some time, the newborn bat drinks the mother's milk, and she takes great care of her baby. Although these unusual animals are born with functional wings, which don't need to grow feathers, they still need some time to learn how to fly. For example, a small brown bat starts flying 18 days after birth, but most species begin to live on their own within 80 days after birth. Most likely, it depends on the diet.
There's a dumb guy.
Octopi. These tiny slippery things that look like the seeds of some tropical fruit are newborn octopi. Yes, they are alive. Most octopus species lay eggs at night. They attach them to the rocks and try to hide them from predators, and some female octopi prefer to carry offspring with them, just to be safe. On average, they gestate the offspring for up to 4 to 6 months, but sometimes this can take a year, and in rare cases, several years. All this time, the female octopus protects the eggs, doesn't hunt, and does not eat at all. Studies have shown that before reproduction, the bodies of octopi go through several changes, so even if the female wanted to leave the eggs to go looking for food, she still wouldn't be able to do it. Soon after the babies are born, the female dies. But for nature, it's not that important. Newborn octopi can take care of themselves. Elephants. Elephants are considered the largest terrestrial mammals, and so they are very careful about procreation. For example, the African bush elephant becomes an adult between the age of 11 and 15. The pregnancy of the females lasts 22 months. That's 2.5 times more compared to humans. No wonder at this rate, elephants are born about once every 3 to 4 years. A newborn baby elephant learns how to walk about half an hour after birth, and another 20 minutes later, it can already walk on its own. This is possible due to a long pregnancy. Babies not adapted for life in the wild from the very start would simply not survive. So elephants, like many other large mammals, don't need extra time to fully mature. Still, newborn babies continue to drink breast milk for several years and only then switch to a vegetarian diet. Psst! Dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.